work as well, but not so much.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So Lily is joining us, and we also have some wonderful people. We have an amazing photographer called Taylor, Jay Taylor, who is on this call as well.
Okay.
And today we are going to really talk about NASH, and first we are going to start with learning a little bit about you. And before we do that, I just want to pin the website of the northwestartstream.org in order for our viewers and anybody else who is going to join us to see what we are talking about. But before that, I just want to read a part of your bio real quick to kind of let people know who we are talking to.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Sure.
Seattle native John Gordon Hill's career as producer, director, cinematographer, composer, and educator spans more than 4 decades. He has made scores of network dramatic shows and documentaries for Fox, Discovery, PBS, CBS, A&E, and Lifetime, and numerous pieces for Microsoft, Vulcan, Intel, Philips, Kenworth, Nintendo, and many others, and hundreds of television commercials. He is a member of the Directors Guild of America. He is part of the chair of the Board of Trustees for Cornish College of the Arts, lectures at the University of Washington, and has taught writing and film production at Seattle Central College. He was president of the Board of Youth Theatre Northwest and has directed 12 plays there. He is the founder and a board member of the Massa Island Center for the Arts. He is a composer of numerous film soundtracks and choral compositions and has produced classical CDs for major artists. He studied harpsichord and fortepiano and is a choral singer. He and his wife Ellen are arts and social. An honor to be here with you today.
Well, it's great, Simon.
Thank you. Now, I want you to just share with our viewers and our listeners your story. Like how did you accomplish all of these things, and and then how did you end up in Seattle?
I'm actually a native. I was actually born here.
Born and raised here.
Born and raised.
Wow.
I've lived a lot of other places, but I came back to Seattle and started my. And the way you get to do all of those things is just keep breathing.
Yeah.
I've lived a long time, so that's mainly the thing. I started. I worked for film production as a documentary in Boston. I met my wife there. We got married, and then came back to Seattle, and I started working for a company here, and then started my own. Started what became Hill Film. Then it's had several other iterations, and now it's back to Hill Film. And that's kind of how I started. But I started as a filmmaker and became a director and a cinematographer. A lot of what we were doing required me to know what I was doing behind the camera. So I became accomplished as a cinematographer and would also shoot for other people as a cinematographer, and then direct and shoot my own stuff. So good people that I've had the opportunity to work with, of course, and so that's how it came to this point.
Okay, thank you so much. Now tell us about some of the current work that you're working on, and how people, before you talk about NASH, just anything else you're working on, and how people can connect with you. I want to be sure that those of us who are joining us now can not just learn about the northwestartstream.org, which we've pinned on this chat, But for you to just share with us how people can get you if they want to catch you.
Well, most of my work these days is in stuff that isn't on screen. So NASH, it, theater groups and arts groups to keep them and working and alive. And that's been most of what I've been doing of late. Before that, you know, a lot of television documentaries and things that were available to be seen. Probably the last thing that played here was some years ago now, but it was I did the 50th anniversary documentary about the Seattle World's Fair for Channel 9 for KCTS. So that's pretty much, you know, what I'm doing these days. Is not so much here on screen, though. Here I am on screen.
Thank you. So, you know, I think it was around March when you posted something that ignited the conversation about the creation of the Northwest Arts Streaming Hub, you know. Can you just share with me what was in your mind in that moment and what triggered that post, and then what led to NASH being created and why you are on the advisory board?
Well, I've been heavily involved in theater. And as you mentioned in my bio, I spent 11 years, I was on the board of trustees for music and live theater. And then early March, I think it was March 11th, the governor said, you know, all the live venues are going away. There's going to be no places for people to perform. And I thought of all of my friends and all of the people I care about were suddenly unemployed. They had no way of working. And I was involved in the production community. And I thought, well, there's this huge capacity of directors and cinematographers and people who can make things happen in live streaming. And perhaps we can we can get these two groups together and the people who are the performers a chance to stay in front of the public and to perhaps make some money as well. And so I put it out to Facebook post saying, you know, can we get these elements together and maybe something that will create a union between these two different worlds that only kind of touch each other tangentially. And that was how it started. And then along came Lily Raby, and Lily saw my post. Let's see how far it goes. And so all props go to Lily. I mean, she was the one who I think took the idea and ran with it. I've stayed involved from day one. And then I started calling people I knew. Interesting to me is that Lily was working with Carlos Scanduzzi and Joseph Krebs, both people I knew quite well. I've known for years. And as we started to build out the board, there were some people I thought absolutely had to be involved. And one of those people was Vivian Phillips, who you also did an interview with not too long ago. And just one of the most powerful, energetic, intelligent, well-connected women I know. Was also a wonderful vector into the communities of color. And so I reached out to Vivian and said, come on, you got to join. You got to come on this. So we've known each other again for decades. And she said, oh, okay, you talk me into it.
Yeah, Vivian is, you know, just everything you've said about her and even much more. Yeah. Taylor, if you're watching, I would just love for you to check out the Northwest Arts Streaming Hub. The website is pinned on this chat. It's a resource that might be helpful to you as well, but you also know many artists, including Aisha Fukushima, and also, you know, quite a few of the artists that work with Festival Sundiata, which has also benefited from NASH. I think this weekend NASH was streaming Festival Sundiata. So to everyone else who is also watching this conversation, we are really here to let you know that there's an amazing platform that both John and I have been instrumental in helping platform for artists and creatives and arts organizations who want to amplify their voices and the work that they do. So make sure you check it out. And I want to come back to John just for a moment so that we can, talk about art and music as a tool for resistance. We are living in very difficult times. We have the coronavirus pandemic, and we also have the racist acts of individuals and some organizations and some institutions that is making it very difficult, literally, for Black people to breathe in this tool for resistance. And I wanted you to just share with us examples in your many years of creating art. How have you seen music and art used as a tool for resistance?
Well, really, it's how we speak to each other. It's how we make sense out of what's going on in the world. And a lot of times it's our window into other people's lives and other cultures. When you think of theater, you think of everyone, from Lorraine Hansberry and Alice Childress and all these fabulous playwrights, Langston Hughes, and the really we have so many people. August Wilson is who I'm thinking of. August Wilson to me was a playwright, but as far as I'm concerned, he was the American, and this 10-play cycle that he wrote gave so many people an insight into how we got where we are with the African American community. And in music, well, where do I start? That's essentially, we don't have, without African Americans, we don't have an American music. Music has its roots on so many, it's an opportunity to participate from the outside looking in, certainly, but also to get a feel and an understanding of where people are coming from. I've been thinking about like Black Lives Matter, and obviously that goes without saying, Black Lives Matter, but to me, that's not enough. They don't just matter. I like to take some of maybe our opponents' words and turn them back on themselves and say, Black lives make America great. We are who we are because of the witness of the Black community and their suffering and the way in which they transcended that. And art has been a way of documenting that. I also, years ago, had a project I did for Microsoft. It was to follow the idea that was originally started by W.E.B. Du Bois, create an encyclopedia of the African experience. And this was back in the days when they were doing CD-ROMs. So Microsoft said, let's take this idea and have Henry Louis Gates turn it into a CD-ROM experience. And they hired me to go film the introductions to the various chapters. And it was an experience of a lifetime. I got to shoot interviews with some of the greatest African Americans, in our history. I mean, it was not just Henry Louis Gates and Cornel West and Kwame Anthony Appiah, but also Maya Angelou, Goldberg. It was a remarkable group of people right down the, and to be in their presence and to just be there for their witness and to hear and experience their brilliance. Wow. That's the kind of thing that film production allows you to be a part of.
Wow.
Art has that going for it, but it's hard for me to talk about art as a thing from breathing, because
Mm.
art for people like you, like me, art is
Right. Thank you very much. So now, I want you to just work with me and describe to the people who are viewing this from your perspective how you think they can leverage NASH as a platform to amplify their content to the masses, how artists can, leverage NASH to grow and get access to new audiences, monetize their work, stream their work. Just share with us some of your perspectives around that, please.
NASH is the idea behind it is a central site, kind of an aggregator of all of the streaming work that's being done. So you as a viewer go to this one website and here's this huge array of streaming work and artists that you can choose and get a chance to experiment with and figure out and experience in ways you might not have encountered otherwise.
Mm.
Site, you won't work.
Mm.
We're looking to create something that uses the network effect, where you aggregate all of these things together, and anybody who's interested in this particular thing will come and see your work and other people's work. So the idea is to use NASH as a way to bring the general public into our worlds and to see our work and to see the things that we're creating that they might not otherwise encounter. And one of the things we'd like to do is then create a possibility for people to contribute and create income streams for our artists back to them. One of the phrases we used in thinking this thing through is, could we create a Netflix for the arts? An idea that, in the evening you want to just experience something in the art world, you go to NASH, and look at theater, look at plays, look at music, look at dance, look at spoken word, all of these things. NASH has a way of building on itself. The more people drive traffic to NASH, their work, other people will profit from that too, because then they'll be on that central location and they can find these works. I think the thing that's been really fascinating to me is to see how NASH has evolved from, when we first started out, and how circumstances, how the world has made NASH. We're here in Seattle, and we have had an incredible impact of the Black Lives Matter movement and the various marches that have taken place for social justice and police reform and all of these elements. And NASH has been able to experience it that they would not have had it. So, we didn't see that coming, but how great has that been? It's been really wonderful.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I want us to go towards the end of our conversation, and I wanted you to share with me anything that you think I have not asked before I just close it. But in the meantime, I want our viewers to know that we are talking about the Northwest Art Streaming Hub. We've pinned the website on this chat in order for you to check that website out. It's a free platform for any artist, any arts organization. You just need to submit your application, and the team working there is amazing. I'm an advisory board member, and John is also an advisory board member, and we'd love to connect with us today.
Well, I think the most important thing at this point, well, there's a couple of things. One, all props need to go out to the advisory board and the governance board of NASH, because people have no idea how fast this came together. I mean, the very first Facebook post to going live was 7 weeks. It was nothing. It just came together so quickly. So felt like an idea whose time has come.
Right.
But it's in its infancy right now, and it's being invented as we speak. We're trying to create the most interesting, compelling site for people to come to, but that means that the people who are watching this are also part of that creation process. They need to be able to say, hey, I know ways that can make this even better and stronger, and I think you should feature some of my work, and we'd love to do that.
Right.
We'd also like it to be an engine for social justice. We'd like it to be an engine for racial justice and for gender equity and for rights for all kinds of people, and an expressive medium for all kinds of people. And then we need that desperately to have people come and represent their communities on NASH for us. That's what makes us strong. And then the third thing is it's a network, and we need eyeballs. We need people who have had, videos that they put up where they had, dozens of views, and suddenly they had hundreds of views or even thousands of views because they posted it on NASH. That's just the beginning. My hope is it becomes millions of views. And because it's the internet, you post on NASH, they can see your work in Singapore. They can see your work everywhere.
Right.
So, people should talk it up and basically tell us about, tell their friends about it, get their work on NASH, and get people to come see the site, because it's only going to get stronger and grow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. I appreciate it very much.
Anytime. So, for just joining us, remember to check out the link that we've pinned on this conversation, northwestartstream.org. And also remember that this Saturday from 9 p.m. we have Madaraka Festival virtually for the first time. It's going to be streamed on One Vibe's YouTube channel. And it's also going to be streamed on NASH. So NASH is going to help One Vibe get it to, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. So, we are a big beneficiary of this amazing platform that we are, letting all of you know about. And also with Madaraka Festival, the primary reason for it this year is to help raise money for 500 women who are doing business in the slum. And these are people who are desperately in need. They're already vulnerable in very terrible ways, but then the coronavirus has forced them to feed their families for free, are now becoming the community survival tools. So we want to go in and give each of them $100, which is very minimal in the Seattle standards, but in Kenya, that is 10,000 Kenya shillings. So when you join us this Saturday, you'll be able to be not just enjoy a show, which is bringing artists from over 7 countries to your living room, but you'll be able to help people who need it the most. So with that, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. And I want to say thank you